to another tradingfootball.eu video tutorial. This is Bingo here, and in this particular game I'm going to be looking at a strategy where we're using the half-time full-time market, and it's a mid-morning derby clash between Derby and Nottingham Forest. And the reason I selected this match was actually for that reason. It was a derby, and Derby, the home side, was sort of 1.66 pre-match heavy favourites, but I thought there was some value in actually sort of taking that on in some way, and I felt that perhaps the best way I could actually try and achieve some value and get some decent profit was by using the half-time full-time market. We'll have a look at that staking in just a second. I also backed first half goals for £25. I was hoping there was going to be over 1.5. This is a market I used just in case Derby kind of sort of ran riot against a Forest side who frankly are in sort of a dreadful run of form, having won only sort of 2 out of the last 20 games. So there's a possibility that Derby could take full advantage of that. And here's the half-time full-time market, and I'm putting my sort of jackpot hopes on Derby Forest half-time full-time. Now Derby took the lead after 15 minutes, which was good news for the first half over 1.5 goal market. Now you've got an option here of either sort of hedging for green, and you could see I could get sort of round about sort of £14.50 if I hedge for green, but I decided to just simply clear the red of £25 there. I'd also backed, and hopefully the video just showed that a little earlier, over 3.5 goals and over 4.5 goals for £20 each. And when an early goal is scored, you do then have these sort of two similar options. You can either hedge for green. As you can see here, I could take £6.60 on the over 4.5 market, and this is because a goal has been scored sort of so early. As you can see in the half-time full-time market, I also took some extra kind of cover on the draw. But it's 1-0, and that's really, if we want to kind of see this potential jackpot of £170 odd on Derby Forest half-time full-time, having a 1-0 scoreline at half-time is actually ideal. So back to what I'm going to do on the over 4.5 and over 3.5 market. I decided to take a second option, which was simply to reduce the red by 50% on each. So my liabilities initially were £20 each on both of those markets. I've now reduced those to £10 each. Now what this does is actually reduce my total liabilities on the trade on all of the 4 markets down to £44. I've got £24 liability on the half-time full-time and £10 each on the under 3.5 and under 4.5 markets. So that's £44 in total liabilities. And it did reach half-time, and the score remained 1-0, so that's quite useful for us. Okay, so back to this idea, £44 liability. Now we've got, if we go back to the correct score market, okay, that's confirmation, £44 in total liability. So if it stays 1-0, we've got £46 green there, that's okay. 2-1's okay. 2-0 is okay. Our dangers are 1-1 and 3-0. So we'll need to sort of think about doing something with that during the second half. Ideally a Forest equaliser early in the second half would mean that we would be able to lay that Derby Forest half-time full-time selection because we have £171 green on that, which will give us sort of, great leverage. So we'll see what happens. A late 1-1, that wouldn't be so good. So at some point, I'm going to be keeping my eye on the 1-1 and the 3-0 markets. 3-2, 3-3, we're okay. Any home win, Derby win 4-0, that's not so bad either. So we're covered by the over 3.5 and the over 4.5 market. Now it's 73 minutes and I decided to go in a little bit deeper here, so I backed over, or I laid under 2.5 at 1.16, 1.15 for £75. I'm hoping that a goal by either side would give me at least an opportunity to hedge out, get some green on that sort of 2.5 market. Now, as it happened, timing is always a great thing in trading, either good or bad, of course. But Forest equalised about a minute after I made that 2.5 bet. So, as I was sort of suggested earlier, the Derby Forest half-time full-time, I was able to, or I'm in a position now, to lay that. And so I'm just waiting for the market to settle, and I'm hoping, I backed it at 65s pre-match, that particular selection. So I'm hoping it should be at least, 12s, maybe 10-1, so I can use that £171 to reduce a lot of liabilities I've got on the 1-1. So to further reduce my liability, if it does stay 1-1, I am hedging for green in the over 2.5 market. There's about 15 minutes left to play. So, to cover against the 1-1 scoreline, if it ends that way, I've taken £26 hedged green, as you can see there. Now I want to go back to the half-time full-time market and see what price is on offer. Now 12s, now I don't really fancy that, that's kind of a bit too high. 7.4 is offered to back, but I put in an order here. I'm asking for 8.0, and I'm going to lay that for £15. So again, that will help in reducing this liability I've got if it ends 1-1. And all the time, you see, I'm looking at sort of all these markets I've got. Some of them are open, some have been had the liabilities reduced, the 3.5 and the 4.5 market, for example. The biggest liability is on the correct score market, where I've got sort of a £40 red on the 1-1. I've done something with the over 2.5 market, as we know, £26 green there. So really I've got to sort of chip away at reducing this liability by using this Derby Forest half-time full-time selection. Now I got £5 of it matched at 8.0, which is okay, but I still want a further £10 to be matched here. Now, as you can see, there's a gap between the back price and the laid price. I'm sort of switching to the match odds market and see what's going on there, because obviously the odds should be exactly the same in both of those two markets. That is a Forest win. So I could have taken sort of 8s there and got my sort of whole £15 matched in the match odds market, but I'm kind of frantically switching between these two markets and trying to get matched. But of course, all the time the minutes are ticking away, and that price that I've asked for at 8s is gradually sort of slipping away from me. So there we go, I'm raising it to 8.2. And a lot of you will know this this kind of scenario where you put in your price, you've asked for a particular price to be matched. It's not taken, so therefore you have to sort of raise your offer by a tick or two. that doesn't get matched, and all the while it's just kind of slipping and drifting away, and it's kind of quite frustrating. I think the thing is here, that this example I think is quite good. I just waited too long on hoping to be matched at my first offer price, which was 8s. I should have just basically put it in at 8.2, maybe even 8.4, and I would have been certain to get matched here. But I didn't, so I've ended up sort of constantly trying to chase the price as it's moving further and further away from me. So now it's out to 9s. And you're talking sort of here, sort of £6, £7, £8 difference. So for these kind of stakes, that's quite a lot of money. So I've kind of lost my opportunity really, and it's now sort of out to 13s, and I'm kind of thinking I don't want it. I just that's just unreasonable. There's no value there, and I'm probably going to have to accept that I won't get matched. I've reduced that half-time, full-time liability from £24 down to 19. It's okay, it's something, but it's just not going to happen. But then something great did happen, and that is Forest scored in the 91st minute. So that kind of validated my sort of pre-match idea that Forest, could get something out of this game. And obviously the best scenario was that Derby would be leading at half-time and Forest would actually go on to win the game. And the 1-1 after 75 minutes did give me sort of quite a lot of expectation, positive expectation about that. The fact that they did score in the 91st minute obviously proved to be the jackpot. So 1 minute to go. Of course, I just quickly had to just lay Forest at 1.07 for £150, just in case there was another goal. And I've got £44 green on the 1-2. I've lost £10 on the under 3.5 and lost £10 on the under 4.5. But I've got, if we can quickly switch over to the half-time, full-time market, I've got £139 there. A very final quick lay of the 1-2 for £40, so I just cleared that red just in case there was a final goal in the last sort of 30 seconds or so. So reduced just by £2.40 the profit on the 1-2 scoreline. So I've got £41.60 profit on the 1-2, 0 if there's another goal, which is okay. But I've got £139 if we can quickly go to the half-time, full-time market. £139 profit on the Derby Forest, less £12 on the match odds, and less £10 each on the 3.5, 4.5 goal market. So leaving me with around about £165 profit net of commission. Okay, good. Thanks for watching. Bye.